Well, hello and welcome to art class. It's Miss Argain, and I'm going to start teaching the graffiti art unit. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we are. And so we are starting graffiti art. Go ahead and present. Ooh, yeah, see it big. And so as we begin this unit, I want you to ask yourself, what is graffiti? And why do artists create graffiti? We're going to have a very brief history of graffiti art. On the left is the earliest known artwork of all of mankind in the Lascaux caves of France, in which shaman would paint animals in the hopes that by painting them, maybe they would be able to hunt more of them and bring prosperity to their people. And then here's another example from Egypt in which you can see this fish highlighted here. I'm going to annotate that for you. Well, our best guess is that that particular fish is kind of a stinky fish, and it's right next to an Egyptian kind of person of interest. So, our best artistic opinion is that someone is trying to say this person is a stinky fish. I hope that amuses you as much as it amuses me. So, what I want you to take away from this as every culture has used graffiti as a form of communication, whether it's prehistoric cave paintings where they're uh, painting on the walls, or Egyptian hieroglyphs and carving in their own messages, to even the subway walls and probably the graffiti that you've seen in your own life. So I wanted us to look at some early graffiti writing. When most people think of the word graffiti, this is kind of what they think of, just spray paint on a wall. And it's quick, messy, and simple. The graffiti that we want to talk about is what kind of came later. And we're going to start in the 70s with bubble letters. We're going to look at this artist. His name is Phase 2. That's his graffiti name. However, his actual name is Michael Lawrence Marrows. There's a picture of him there. And for him, the way that he would answer this question, why do artists create graffiti? Specifically for him, growing up in the 70s in New York City, he said, Phase 2 said, for urban youth, meaning youth growing up in the city, it's the only significant vehicle to represent their existence. Trying to say, I am here, I matter. Does that message resonate with you? The desire to be seen and heard? Here are some more examples of bubble letters, or also known as softie style, because they just look big and squishy. Phase 2 was so prominent, you can see here in this black and white photo that his work was actually featured in galleries in the 70s is where we start to see the acceptance of graffiti art, although still a lot of just illegal examples as well. We'll continue our conversation on illegal versus legal next week. But I wanted to show you just some different examples of bubble letters, showing them being in that big, squishy style. Oh, so again, coming back to that question, why do artists create graffiti? And then how do artists use graffiti to communicate a message? So we're going to start learning about how to create some different kinds of graffiti, moving towards the goal of eventually communicating our own message using graffiti. But right now we need to learn how to do it. So the three basic components of bubble letters or softie style is, generally speaking, it's lowercase, although clearly that's not a hard rule because all of these examples are uppercase. Um, they should be rounded. Again, it's called bubble letters because they're big and squishy like bubbles. And then they also overlap. So we're actually going to start with the Scribble tool today. So once you open up your copy of the assignment, it's going to be completely blank. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that my tools are a lot bigger to see. So here's our basic toolbar. And we're going to be primarily using these tools today, the select tool and then the line tool. You actually have multiple options. This basic tool that it gives you right here, this straight line, is literally just a line tool. It makes lines. Well, that's not super useful. What we're doing right now, we're making bubble letters. So we need to choose a different kind of line. There are arrows, curve tools, polyline, but we're going to start with the Scribble tool. What you do today, it can be your name, it could be a word you like, or if you can't think of anything, it can just be the word art. If you're like, I'm completely blank, Ms. Argain, what should I do? just do the word art. Whatever you choose, it should be 3 letters. And literally, I just want you to draw your letters. Whatever is your handwriting, don't try to make your letters look like Miss Argane's letter, because being a graffiti writer is all about developing your own style, and that comes from your own handwriting. So for example, sometimes I like to write my A's like this. That's kind of like something that I do, maybe. Or I'll like add some swag to my letters. As you can see, sometimes I just repeat them. So I'll do kind of 2 versions here. So play around with how you want your letters. Let me clear up my annotations just a little bit. I told you we would be using the select tool a lot as well. So if there's something that you don't like you can literally just get rid of it. Like this A, I didn't like how it looked, so I'm gonna redo it. I like that better. So that is part 1. If you're working on your own right now and you're watching this video, I would recommend that you go ahead and pause it and do this step and then come back for the next step. That'll make it easier for you. So go ahead and pause this video, go use your Scribble tool to make whatever word you want to do, whether it be your name, art, or another word, and then come back to this video. Okay, continue on to step 2. So step 1 was using the Scribble tool. Step 2 is to now use the curve tool to trace around each letter. So instead of scribble, we're going to select line and we're going to go to the curve tool. The curve tool, when you first use it, it can be a little weird. Like trying to make a perfect circle is super weird. It looks more like a square. Just go with it. I'm going to zoom in to 200%. Okay, maybe not 200%, 100%. That looks lovely. And my goal now is to trace around. I don't want to trace on these lines because I actually want them to be bigger and squishier. So I'm actually going to trace around them. It's like I'm driving a car around. If you've used the polyline tool before, this is going to feel very familiar, in which move your mouse, click once, move your mouse, click, move your mouse, click, and then notice how when I get back to my beginning, it really actually wants to close out. Huzzah. If you don't go back to the beginning, you're going to either end up with a half shape like that or just a line. I'm going to delete those. So you have to take your line back to the very beginning. So watch, I'm going to start my line right here under the R. So for me to eventually end this shape, I have to come back to where I started. In this moment, I'm not really stressing too much about if my letters are insanely perfect, because I'm going to show y'all a super cool trick to be able to edit your letters. The inside of like A's and O's and B's and things like that are just kind of like this triangle shape. And then I fill it in with black. Easy peasy. And I also want you to notice that when I'm tracing around this T, I'm pretty much ignoring the R. I don't care if I go outside of the lines. This is digital art. I can move all of this stuff. So I'm clicking. Oops. Ugh, that didn't turn out great. All right, and for today's example, I'm just going to leave that one down there. You don't have to have 2 words, by the way. You only owe me 1 word. So just for clarity, because I don't want anyone to get confused, you only owe me 1 word. So I'm going to delete the second word so it doesn't feel confusing. And then I can just move this to where I want it to be. I can delete my scribble letters if I want to. If I can't see them, I don't even bother. Now, one of the things about graffiti art is that it is supposed to be overlapping. So I'm also going to place my letters so that they are overlapping. And I really want this R to be in front, so I'm gonna move it up. And this T, like you see how it's like too low? Let's move it up a little bit. So find a position where you're happy with it, resize it. Beautiful. I'm happy with that now in terms of just basic tracing. So again, if you're watching this video, feel free to pause the video now, go use your curve tool to trace around your letters and get to this point. So now I'm going to show you something that is just going to blow your mind. Another artwork I was working on, I was working on this N and I just thought it looked super weird. Like, look, this one's like fat, this one's skinny. Ugh, like we're not perfect, we're human. And so you can actually edit your letters. I'm going to show you how to edit them so that you can get them exactly how you want them. So this is the third step, is to, excuse me, this one, to edit your points to make them exactly how you want it. See, that looks so good. Thank you. Alrighty, so this A to me is super weird. Like this piece feels weird and like, I don't know, my A felt squished. So in my mind right now, I'm kind of imagining how I want this. And can I annotate? Yes, okay. So in my mind, I really want this to be a lot thicker. And then I think if that's, and then I want to make this a little thinner and more bubbly. And I think, see how pointy that is? I think I just want to pull it in like that. So in my mind, I want to make that letter more squishy. I'm going to clear off my annotations now and show you how to actually do this. So make sure you're on the select tool. Remember, these are two main tools today, variety line tools and the select tool. So if you double click on the A, purple dots will appear and you can click and drag those purple dots and actually change the shape of this. Oh my gosh, Miss Argain has been hiding this from you the whole time. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, that's looking better. I'm a lot happier with this. And this is why I was telling you, like, don't stress if it's perfect or not, because I knew this was coming next. I'm gonna move that up. You see, this still feels like super squishy, right? Like super thin. So I think, do I like that better? I don't know, maybe I just need to let it be like that. I like that a lot better. I like that. Just a little bit in. I can live with that. That's awesome. So again, the way that I did that was I double clicked on the letter and it popped up those purple points. And then I'm just clicking and dragging those points to make those little changes. Oh yeah, this like fat R has some style. And remember, graffiti is all about like fun expression, having a message. If my message, like if I want to communicate that this is fun and edgy, well then I gotta make this fun and edgy. I can't have no boring letters. Yeah, dude, this R has such swag. Oh yeah, dude. This R is my favorite thing I've done today. And see here, like where that one was like way too close. That's a lot better. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with this letter. No, I don't know. Sometimes you should like change things. You're like, nope, that was not it. Beautiful. Guess what, guys? So that's step 3 is editing your letters until you're satisfied with them. Let's move this over again. I just want them to be so close and snuggly. Ugh, I don't know. I'm very indecisive, clearly. Okay, so pause the video, go add in your little edits by double clicking and editing those purple points, and then come back to the video when you're ready for the next step. Alrighty, So now we've done the three basics. Those are the three basics. Everything from here on out is just kind of like your personal preferences for style choices. So we're going to look at highlights, gradients, and background. Oh, so fun. So now, like, it's time to add some color to our work, and it's going to be so epic. So let's talk about how to actually add in a custom gradient. So right now, I don't see any color options. Like, you see this? It's just blank. Why is nothing there? Well, I'm going to head over to my select tool, and I'm going to select this R. Notice that when I selected the R and I've got that blue box here, there are my options for editing. Here's my basic color, my what color I want for the outline, and even how thick I want that outline. So I'm going to click on the color option, fill color, but I'm not going to choose gradient. Gradient is basic. Excuse me, I'm not going to choose solid. Solid is basic. We want to go to gradient. And then I want you to select custom gradient. Yeah, because these are basically just one color gradients, light to dark. We want to go from one color to another, so we have to select custom. Let me drop my annotations off so you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, this is what's going to pop up. First, let's change the top color. So the color on the left will be the color on the top. This is 100% up to you, and you can play around with it and change it as much as you want. Like sometimes you just don't know if a gradient is going to be good until you try it out. That's pretty funky. That is just orange to green. If you want a 3-color gradient, go to add gradient stop and see how it added one in the middle. And I can add any color. It doesn't have to be like, you can really have some fun with this. Like I can't wait to see your like how you like what colors you try out. Red. No. I dig that. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Play as much as you like. I mean, have fun with it. Pick colors that you like that have the vibe that you want for your work. Once you're satisfied with this, you can press OK and you can see it went onto your letter. I'm gonna click on the T now. And I'm gonna go to gradient and hey, oh sorry, this is hard to see. Let me just zoom out slightly. Okay, there we go. Do you see under custom? That's the gradient we already made. So you don't have to redo it. It's right there. If you want to do 3 different gradients, go for it. Play around. This is definitely your time to experiment. I'm also going to change my border weight to 8 because I like that. It just makes it does feel like it just makes it match the little inside of my A there. That's pretty awesome. So now it has a gradient. It's definitely starting to have a little bit more swag. If pause this video, go add your gradient, come back because up next, we're going to look at highlights. Highlights are the little areas of white that make it look like bubbles, make it look more 3D. And you can see my amazing little drawing of a sun there. So I'm gonna go to the Scribble tool real quick. You do not have to draw a sun on your work unless you just really feel like it. But sometimes it helps to have that visual of a sun and where the light would be hitting. It's a fantastic sun, guys. All right, we'll zoom in a little bit. So my sun is in the upper right, meaning all of my highlights should also be in the upper right. I'm going to switch back over to curve tool. And these shapes are just abstract kind of boomerang shapes, maybe like commas. This is important. Change the border color to transparent. And then we are doing a solid color, but we're going to go to custom. And then you're going to bump that transparency down to about 75%. What this does is makes it partially see-through. This particular example has like a bluish tint, so I'm going to go with like a yellow tint or maybe even a straight white. I like that better. So I did a white color and then made it transparent. And I'm going to do that for all of my shapes that are on the upper right-hand side. That one. Now, since I just did that one, guess what the next one will be? Ooh, sometimes they look like beans to me. A couple of like just hints for success is notice how my highlights do not actually touch the black line. There's like a little bit of space. And, you know, this is a small piece of the R, so it's a small highlight, and this one is bigger, so it's a bigger highlight. Areas like this that are hard to see, I don't even like really bother with them. That's nice. And you know what? I just feel like this T is just jutting up. I like that. And so that really gives it a sense of being 3D. You know what? This R deserves, like it's so swaggy. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice. Yeah. And delete my sun. And now it really looks like it's 3D. And it has that bubble look to it. The last thing that we're going to do today is add a background just to give our work a little bit more swag. And we've done this before. Insert image. We're going to search the web. Some words that you might want to search for are brick background. That's going to just bring up a whole bunch of bricks and scroll through until you find something you really like. You might want a textured wall. Oh, by the way, pause, go to your highlights, come back. Ooh, this is kind of nice. Like this white wall. I'm kind of interested to see what it's going to look like. I just want to try this one. I'm actually so glad that I picked this picture because this is a horrible picture. And it's just because it's so insanely tiny that when I make it large, it's probably going to be blurry. So if it ends up blurry, then just don't even use it. It seems to be okay. Okay, I think I can use it. Let's try it. Where'd my artwork go? Anytime you add something, it goes to the top layer. So you're going to click on your background picture and you're going to go to arrange. I'm going to underline this. Arrange. You want to go to the order, which is the first option, and we're going to send to back. I'm also going to crop this down to my picture size. There you go. Don't need the whole thing. Honestly, that wall, I'm not a fan of it. So instead of inserting a new picture and doing all of those steps, arrange, order, send to back, you can actually right click on it and you can replace the image. Replace image, search the web. And you can also look up for like a graffiti wall, like if you want some more graffiti in there. So I'll just like leave this up to you. Keep it appropriate. You know, sometimes inappropriate images do get through, and I just am assured that you're going to use your amazing judgment to not use those pictures. Let's see. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. And so now I have completed my bubble style or softie style letters. And just to recap about everything that our work needs to have, I'm going to go back to this picture right here. So what makes up bubble letters? This is what I'm looking for in terms of a grade. I'm looking, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care if it's uppercase or lowercase because artists are constantly breaking that rule. So I'm actually looking for these 5 things. Did you use the curve tool and make rounded letters? Did you adjust and move your letters so that they overlap? Did you add highlights? Did you use a gradient? And is there a background? Just realized I wrote that in backwards. And lastly, as we're thinking forward about improving our style for the long goal of communicating a message in our final artwork, I want you to think, what kind of vibe do bubble letters have? And then also think back to going back to the 70s in New York. Why do you think this style was so popular? Thank you guys for watching this demo video, and I cannot wait to see your artwork. Bye.